total about 20 years with them. Then due to circumstances, I had to leave, which I'll share later, both AT&T and then followed by Compaq. So in the period that I had to leave the corporate world in the 20 years, and in the last 20 years, I've been through the two organizations. I've been coaching and mentoring managers, working with leaders, both in the government sector and non-government sector, both multinationals as well as small and medium enterprises, and also in the region. So that has given me a lot of insights as to, what working professionals go through, managers go through. And I'm hoping that in the next 45 minutes, I'll be able to share with you some of the lessons that I've learned. So I'll do that through this agenda. As you can see, I've synthesized what I like to share with you into 4 tips for grit. And I will finish that within the next 30 minutes so that we can spend about 10 minutes doing Q&A. And if I finish earlier, then we get more time for Q&A, which means it'll be very helpful if you can start posting your questions in the Q&A box. Now I see some chat has already occurred. So use the chat for your private conversations, but for the Q&A, because we'll be monitoring, the organizing team will be monitoring the questions that are coming in. So some norms first before we start. One is this webinar is being recorded and we'll send the link to you at the end. The SPAN team, the organizing team, I'll call them the organizing team, is monitoring both the chat box and the Q&A. So please keep your comments coming in. Your microphones are muted for now. And you can use the chat box, as many of you already know. For private, you can send to somebody privately, or you can send to all. So use that accordingly. And the Q&A is for your questions, which we will capture and answer. I will go in and also monitor the questions quickly to see if there's something that I can address concurrently. And let's be respectful with all the diversity in the room. Right now, we have about 194, 95 persons. So let's be sensitive to ethnicity, gender sensitivity, etc. And because of the currency of what's happening in Singapore, I will keep political conversations outside of this conversation. So let's see why you are here. I'm going to launch a poll, and you can pick why you are here, and I'll be asking you 4 questions. So let's do the polling. So please take the next maybe 2 minutes to respond. The options are learning something new, to learn something new, to you need grit at work and at home also. You're attending on behalf of someone. Okay, 70% voted already. Thank you for being very spontaneous. Nothing, you kind of just on an exploratory mode. All right. About 30 more persons to go, and I'll count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'll end the poll, and let's take a look. So we can see that 80% of you are here because you want to learn something, and 40% of you need grit. And interesting that you said, hey, I need grit also at work and at home. Yes, I do hope that whatever you're going to pick up will be useful beyond just work. And 2 of you attending on behalf of someone. Yeah, please convey to them and whatever you're picking up. And 8 of you said, well, nothing much at the moment, but you are coming in. So thank you. Thanks for that. So bulk, but the bulk of you are here because you want to pick up something and you want to use whatever you're picking up at home as well as at work. So with that, let's get into the order of business, which is greet. Now, I picked greet kind of because, you know, in engineering, greet is quite a common term used in almost many fields of engineering, as well as in management. They've got management greet and you know, KPI greet and all that. So with that, what does greet stand for? When we look at the definition of GRID, G for greet, now the other greet, right? Which is, most dictionaries define it as courage and to show the strength of your character. You know, that means having the gumption and the courage to of your strength, you know, of your character. Resilience is to be able to recover, pick yourself up in spite of difficulties. Inspiration is going beyond mentally as well as to be creative. So it almost like dream, you know, dream things. And determination is firmness of purpose. So the dictionaries, various dictionaries are summarizing it in this form. So how do we put these together so that it becomes where it becomes useful for you, you know, both at home and at work? Let's unpack this now as to, you know, what it looks like. But prior to that, I would like to share 2 stories of mine. And following that, I'll actually be doing a poll as to whether you do also have a personal greed story. So my 2 greed stories are relating to work, relating to retrenchment. You know, I went into the workforce in the 80s. So 80s and 90s, for 20 years, I was in the field, right? Doing manufacturing, Singapore in manufacturing. So Philips, AT&T, and Compaq Computers. So Philips, I left after 8 years. Compaq Computers, I left after 7 years. And no, sorry, AT&T, I left after 7 years. Compaq Computers after 5 years. The first one, Philips, I left on my own accord. But the next 2, I had to leave because there was downsizing occurring. And we basically both AT&T and Compaq Computers left Singapore for other nearby countries. Main reason being labor costs, because our labor cost was going up. So as part of that, you know, AT&T let go about 2,500 people. Compaq Computers let go about 2,000 people. Most of them were operators, whom we call associates. But then in it, we had also the PMEs, professionals, managers, engineers, etc. Quite emotional for most of us. I had to leave. But by then, in both of these companies, I was already, you know, I left engineering and moved on to HR. So I was always one of the last to leave after letting go the others. A very emotional state. And in AT&T, being my first retrenchment, you know, I came back, I cried. My age was in mid-30s, mid-30s. Still have a lot of loan to settle, 2 kids. Really, I was shattered, you know. With Compaq Computers, second experience, after 5 years, after the first retrenchment, second retrenchment in Compaq Computers, a little bit more experience, but still quite sad, because still have loan to do. I'm in my early 40s by then, realized that I cannot go back into the workforce. So it was major time. And at that time, I didn't have the greed to support me. But when I took time after that, you know, when I came out on my own and worked out to see, hey, what have I learned in the 2 times where I had to be retrenched? And then the greed picture came up. It wasn't greed in the very beginning, but later it formed. So what did I learn from there, you know? Prior to that, I would like to launch another poll just to kind of get a sensing. If any of you have got your own greed story to share. Now, don't worry, I will not be asking you to share, but I like to just see if, because in your profile of the people in the room, almost 60-70% of you are still in your either new entry level job or in the first early years of your job. So I'm wondering if you do have a great story. So basically it's a very simple yes, no, may, unsure. And I'm not going to ask you to share the story, but just catching the numbers here. So let's take another minute because you respond very fast, you know. Already 30% of you have already responded. About 75% have responded already. I'll do a countdown, 5 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'll end the poll, but it's okay. You know, we have about 82% who have voted. And let's take a look to see where we are. So about 25% say you do have your own greed story. Very interesting, huh? 25%. And about 50% say you don't have any greed story. And the remaining 30% are unsure. So if I take half of the unsure and put it into the yes, easily we have about 40% who are having some kind of a greed story here, but 25% definitely. So you see, we all experience such challenges in our career as well as personal life. So let's now see knowing. So A, we have about 60% of you who are mid-career and early career. We have about easily 40% of you who have experienced some form of challenge, either at career or home. So the right audience is here, and we have about 206 of you. So thank you for joining us. Let's move on and see. Let's unpack. Now, these 4 tips I'm going to share with you on the grid is nothing to do with as the only way to do it. There are, of course, many other ways to manage greed, but this is just 4 from me, and I hope that you'll find this useful as you take these 4 tips away. If you ask somebody else, there could be other tips. In fact, later on, I do hope that in the Q&A, you will come in and ask, you know, if you have other tips to share as to, you know, why there could be other tips too. But I've now moved in. There are 2 questions that have come in, and very interesting because I would like to answer that live right now. So I'll answer the first. So I'll take some questions now because by hearing the question, others may be prompted to add on other questions. So the discussion becomes very rich because we have about 209 of you, and you know, I hope to get into the Q&A quickly so we can really go into conversation. And this question has also been liked by 2 other persons. So I'm going to answer this question live. Why did you jump from engineering to HR? Did you have any prior experience before starting on HR? And what were your biggest challenges when you moved from engineering to HR? Thank you for the question. I get asked this a lot. And usually I start this with a kind of a joke, you know, where I say, why did you jump from engineering to HR? I start with a joke to say that I find it easier to deal with people than machines and, you know, equipment, you know, but that's a little bit of a joke. You know how tough it is to deal with people. Did you have any prior experience starting on HR? 0. But in some ways I was lucky, you know, having done my national service, I was in the signals. Now it's called, I think, communications, command and communications. So I was in the signals formation and I had my own team that I had to take care of. So that was my first foray into dealing with people. And what was the biggest challenge moving from engineering to HR? So let me give a quick answer to this whole thing. Thank you, very good question. First of all, my boss recognized that I might make a better people person. And later I'll share with you under the self-awareness, various ways in which you can classify the people you deal with so that you can use the right language to deal with them. So my boss at that time, who was an expatriate because I was in Philips Electronics, and he recognized and he said, called me in and said, would you like to take charge of people instead of doing engineering stuff? I said yes, because something in me told me I think I'll succeed there. So there was one. My mentor recognized, and so I'm thankful for that. Secondly is, did I have an experience? No, but because of national service, kind of, because I had to do people management. And what was the biggest challenge? The biggest challenge was very quickly I had to move. And therefore, I went on to do a course. In fact, I came back to the Singapore Polytechnic. Now, here's the story. I did electronics engineering diploma, right? And at that time in the 80s, Singapore Polytechnic launched a course known as industrial management for poly graduates. They don't have that course anymore. Huh? And many of us came back and I took up industrial management. So I actually had training from the Polytechnic. Thank you, Singapore Polytechnic, where I attended a part-time course on industrial management. So I actually had help from the Poly, and the subsequent rest of it was like read up and all. So the help was more like I was at the right time, right place. So that is question answering. If this is still not answered well, let me please ask and I will come back on this. There's a second question, which is about, okay, so you did identify yourself, thank you very much, but because you said anonymous, so I'm not going to put your name out here. Resilience is one of my concerns when I'm working in a company, especially when it comes to facing setbacks. How do you overcome in scenarios when other colleagues look down on you because of lack of experience or thinking that they are better than you? Wow. You know what? Let me answer that when I come to the topic on resilience. And if I don't answer to your satisfaction, WM, please probe me again and we'll go into the Q&A. So I'll be covering this later. There are two other questions very much relating to what I'm going to cover. One talks about, how do you actually practice greed? Another one is, in today's market, is it possible to jump from engineering to HR, for that matter, engineering to somewhere else? I'm going to cover that also later. But this is giving me ideas on where to emphasize as I unpack the content. And it's also telling me where our Q&A can go. Thank you so much, all of you who have asked these questions. 5 of you have asked so much. And then one, which is my favorite, do you choose a dream job or do you choose a job that comes your way? I tell you, this is another big question which I'm going to answer. So I'm going to answer these questions later. Thank you. You have actually shaped my response, and I'm going to unpack them as we go along. Thank you so much, everyone. We have grown the audience list to now 211. So I'll be those questions that are coming in, keep coming in. I'll go in and answer, and I'll use my delivery. I'll adjust my delivery to answer some of the things. Now, the 4 tips I'm going to share with you, I call it 360 awareness. 360 is 360 degrees. That means all-round awareness. And I'll unpack each one of these in a moment. And self-awareness is your own awareness. So the first one is awareness about around you. The second is awareness about yourself. In fact, many of you may have heard of this practice called emotional quotient or emotional intelligence. In emotional intelligence, there are 4. In one of the most commonly used models, there are 4. These 2 are 2 of the 4, being self-aware and being aware of what's around you. The third is relationship, communications, and empathy. Really basically people, dealing with people, which is not easy, as we have spoken before. And finally, building networks and support frameworks. So the number 3 is about people more on a one-to-one, one-to-small group. Number 4 is to leverage the framework, the infrastructure to hit peak. So let me now unpack each one. And I see questions coming in. Very good. Thank you. In the 360 awareness, basically all round, right? So we say up, down, and sideways. The up would be anyone who has power over you. So in the workplace, this is usually your boss. Can't run away, right? And then it could be people who may not be your bosses, but who may have power over you. They have more power because maybe they could be people who are more experienced than you. Maybe they have a subject matter that is greater than you. So we call them upper level. So this is beyond bosses. Huh? I'd like you to pause for a while and think about who do you think are the upper line in your own life, you know, and then personal life. Those of you who are married guys, this is reality. The upper line is your spouse. Okay, don't deny it. If you have been in denial, please accept it. So if you have been married, upper level is your spouse. For the ladies, you are the upper level. So enjoy the power that you possess. Now um, the lower level would be those who report to you. But just like the upper level, it's not only those who report to you. It is any and all people who are less in power than you, who are less blessed than you, people who, you know, you can actually give a helping hand. So those is what we call, those are what we call lower level. So here upper level, level is not the organizational hierarchy, is yes, organizational hierarchy plus anyone else who could exert more power on you and those who are less powerful than you. Now the peer level, majority of them that you deal with will be peer level, would be those who are, and here you can actually use the supply chain, value chain example. On one side are those who are supplying to you. So they could be supplying to you knowledge, info, equivalent to vendors and suppliers in a business. But in a personal relationship, it could be people who are feeding you, you know. It could be your best friend who you turn to. It could be for those of you who are in religious organizations, people, who kind of guide you. And then those who consume from you could be your customers in a business organization, but in a personal context, it could be people who need you, you know, who draw on you, your whatever you can offer them. So this is a 360. Quick summary. It's not about just power hierarchy. It's about the social relationship and hierarchy, you know. So that's the 360. Now I want to pause for a while and go visit the chat group and see what's going on there. Basically, it's about introductions. Very good. And then now I would like to invite all of you to go to the chat box. You see the chat box that at the bottom. For some of you, can be at the top, depending on how you configure. Go to the chat box and just whoever in the next minute or so, just key in your reaction to the concept of 360 awareness. But more important is not about the workplace, you know, included hierarchy, but the social notion of awareness. Can I just get some response? Feel free to type in and click. You can click all panelists and attendees, select, so that when you submit, you're actually submitting to everyone. Everyone can see that. I'm just hoping to engage you here. So thank you, everyone. I was saying it's easy to understand, good perspective, it's a blessing. And so how is this even related to greed? So greed, later as I'll be saying, I'll be unpacking this into it. It's about the relationship aspects of people. Self-awareness, tedious, yeah, true, not easy. I always use this for workplace, but I didn't realize it can be used in personal life. Great. So I hope it's a major aha for you. Thank you, first of all, recognizing that you can use this. And then 360 helps understanding ourselves better as well. Thank you. So that's very helpful to know, and easy to comprehend, interesting, enlightening, cautious. Okay, good. We have quite a bit of inputs that have come in. I want to thank those who have responded on the chat. So majority conclusion is a number of you recognize it, and a number of you feel that it's usable. There's one question as, hey, what the heck has this to do with greed? I'll unpack that in a moment. Thank you. So first tip is be aware from this moment onwards. Think about not only work, but non-work. Think about the social aspects of those who are more powerful than you, and those who are less powerful than you, and those who supply you, and those who consume from you. Now, tip number 2, I would like to talk about what we call self-awareness. So earlier was about around you. Now it's you, inner you. And as many of you may have completed, you may have done what we call some assessment instruments, profiling instruments, DISC, SGI, awareness, etc. So I would like to simplify all of that into 3 that I use. And as I unpack these, I invite you to think about which one of these are you more of. You can be all 3, some of these, more of these. So I like to simplify understanding self and others in terms of styles and needs from the perspective of being somebody who needs information. You know, I call them thinkers. So thinkers are the ones, and by the way, I've coded it, because if in future, if you are using this, and I'll share with you how I use this, color coding is easier to use than just describing, you know, those descriptors. So thinkers, I color code green. This actually comes from a profiling instrument called SDI, Strengths Deployment Inventory. For those who are interested to find out more, you can go and Google Strengths Deployment Inventory, SDI, and expand your understanding of these. So very high level, 30,000 feet. Thinkers are the ones who need information. And without information, they will not go into decision making. Without complete information, or almost 99% information, they don't want to take the next step. Now, the doers are the ones who are very task oriented. For them, don't waste my time, please. And if I have 50, 60% of the time of the information, I will go, I will move, and I'll adjust along the way. Because for the doers, there's no such thing as perfect information. Then the third category is what we call feelers. Feelers are the ones who are people-oriented. And people-oriented means before they take action, before they go into whatever, they always have this notion about, you know, people, you know, welfare-orientedness. Sometimes we call them social beings, social, you know, stuff. So I'd like you to take a moment, and after that, I'm going to ask you to again go into the chat and just type away. You can either use thinker, doer, feeler, or just use the color code, doesn't matter, whatever works for you. You can even just use GRB, green, red, blue, whatever works for you. And type out to see at the workplace, now workplace, because at home you can be different. Which one are you more of? And sometimes you can be both. So for example, I'm more of at the workplace, a doer and feeler. So I'm more of a RG or BR or BRB. Doesn't mean I don't think, you know, but lesser frequency. So on, let's say, a count of a scale of 10, which one are you more of? Is the score. So let's now go into the chat box and quickly take a look to see what is coming in, where you are feeling. Very good, coming in very quickly already. Thank you so much. All of it, yes, doer, blue, cautious and green. Green, red, doer, feeler. You can see the whole idea of this exercise I want to prove to you is in this world, you have all types. Red, blue, blue, green, blue, a lot of self-realization. RB, red, blue, red, green, blue, GR, very good, you know. Then we have like 40% green, 60% red. Wow, very good. You can even quantify, very highly self-aware. Desmond, you raised your hand, so I hope you can put into the, if it's a question, you can put question mark. If it's into the question, if it's a chat. Very good, everyone. So you can keep that going. Is it normal to have a different job scope, you different color? Exactly. At home, in the workplace, everything will change. What is more important is for you to be aware of what am I feeling right now? Where is my primary style? Which do I use frequently? And what should I use now? Let me give you a few examples. If you are dealing with somebody who is a doer, hey, get things done faster, then you better adjust your style and talk in what we call a doer language. So if they want an answer quickly, you quickly switch gear, switch frequency, go talk quickly. Because if you go in like your preferred thinker and say, hey boss, and if let's say your boss is a doer, by the way, you can have feeler boss and thinker boss also. You need to go and figure out who they are. And you go in there with a thinker, your boss is going to get frustrated. Like same with you. If you're a feeler, and if somebody comes to you, straight away talking about work and all, it's going to irritate you. It's going to frustrate you. So adjust your language. And therefore, depending on the work you're doing, it also can change. And if you're not able to change, you may be feeling stress at workplace. Please keep this in mind. I'll give you an example. When I was in manufacturing, I was enjoying more dealing with people because I'm a doer feeler. And one of the bosses wanted to let me be a kind of an auditor type safety officer, which is a thinker job and a doer job. Go in there, find where are the faults, and then report. Hey, that would be not using my thinker. I don't like thinker, so I turn it down. I'm so glad, because I would have felt miserable auditing and reporting on people, because it would have violated my feeler strength style. Anyway, I think I've said enough for you to catch good enough. Now, the tip number 3, relationships. Now, this is about how do you recognize people, how do you deal with people. And a lot of this, there are a lot of material out there. And I'm hoping that, with SPAN, we can also organize mini sessions, future sessions around this topic, because this is very important. Especially if you have been very engineering trained, like I was. I found this as a steep learning curve, and then go into HR some more. Wow, I tell you, steep curve. I work 8 hours, 10 hours. I went for part-time courses, evening courses, go and read up. Hey, last time, no Google, nothing. You really have to go to the library. I'm talking about the 80s and 90s. Okay, 90s, maybe there was not Google, but Yahoo. But anyway, I really had to go. So number 1, recognize body language. Many of us by now, because many of you are entry-level job, but recognizing body language, no issue. But what's more important is recognizing what is not spoken. So some people, especially the feelers, the people oriented, they don't come outright, The doers will come outright. And for those who deal with overseas and cultural, some national culture, they are very outright, very blunt, AT&T and Compaq are American companies. I worked for, 13 years, 15 years in an American culture. They are blunt. But after they tell you so, after that they go for a drink and they're settled already. But if you're in a culture where it's like very, need to watch out for feeling, need to watch out for how people will feel and all that, I tell you, this is very tough. Then you need to really watch out and see what is it that they're not telling you. And the moment you detect, and if there's something, please proactively convey your thoughts and feelings. Because if you don't, and the person who asked the question, hey, what is the 360 to do? That's why. Because even if it's your boss and if there's something uncomfortable, you need to raise it. Otherwise, you'll be in a very miserable environment, suffering. Hey, we work nearly 1/3 of our time. And nowadays, I think you all work more than 1/3, more than 8 hours of 24 hours in the workplace. Come back also cannot work compared to our time. Really, you spend half your life at the workplace or thinking about work, even if you're at home. Why are you feeling miserable? So convey. And one way to convey is a technique that I learned many years ago at AT&T. AT&T has a concept called go-to source. It means, if I have an issue with someone, I will just go and talk to them. A go-to source doesn't mean go there and I punch them or beat them up. Go-to source means, and this is how it goes. Let's say I have an issue with John. John is a fictitious person. And because John said something or sent an email, I'm not happy, I will not reply the email. Because if I reply the email, it becomes an email tag. I will go in, meet personally, if I can. If cannot overseas, then have to do some kind of a call. And I make an appointment, right time, right place, and really say, John, I heard you mention this. It makes me uncomfortable because I don't think so. This. What I wanted or what I meant to do was that. So that's called go to source. So please practice it, because it really, really helps to, clear. Now, there's a lot of training out there in Polytechnic. I'm sure we have. And some of you who came from communications and arts faculty department, all these are nothing new to you. And then, and I'm hoping that we can organize and spend more of this to help all our alumni and industry partners. And finally, tip number 4 is very important: building networks and support frameworks. Many years ago, I learned this African proverb. I was told it's an African proverb. If it's not, forgive me. And it goes something like this: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Now, in my life, in my career, I used to go fast, chiong a lot and all. But later, after I retrenched, I realized, what the heck, no matter what I did, in the end, I still have to leave the job. Not because I was bad, but because the whole company was leaving. So I shifted my paradigm. One of my shifts that happened is this. Then I had to collaborate. When you're on your own, for 20 years surviving on your own, you need people. And then this came through for me. So how do you do that? Offer help to others. Even if they don't ask, be kepo, get busybody. If you can help, help. But please don't help to become stressed. Help if you can. If it's within your means, help. Very simple things, and don't have to be money. The best help you can give is your time and your energy for people. And then expand your circle of connections. This is very important. Those of you who are in business, industry partners, I think you know this. To survive in business, you have to be industry partners. You need to have all your, business connections and all. So you probably know how to do this if you are successful in business. But for those who are employed, please don't live only in the world of your company. Don't. Make time. Yes, religious groups is one. Old classmates, ex-classmates, old boys, old girls also is one. But go beyond that. Go find networks where, clean networks, don't kana some underworld thing and then kana corner. Find networks where, you are able to expand your knowledge, expand your connection, make new friends. Very powerful. So I try to always expand my connection. Part of the reason why I came back to the poly, helping out and doing what I can is this tip number 4 of mine. I like to build networks because you don't know when somebody can help you. Last year I had a major personal crisis. I was diagnosed with stage 3 colorectal cancer. Had to do surgery, chemo, radiation, whole thing last year. Last year was a downtime for me. But I've recovered. For now, it's okay. But you never know with this thing, I can come back on. But for now, seems like clear. But I'm so thankful I made so many connections. The amount of emotional support I received, other than the great doctors that we have, is I think the emotional support. I told myself, I am going to come back. I'm going to fight this thing and come back because of all the good people that I'm blessed with, and I don't want to waste their time. So that's very important. So do make time for others. I like to do a quick poll now because the poll is, you have seen the 4 grid. I would like to do a poll with you as to which one of these 4 things that you have heard, which is the 360, the self-awareness, the relationship with people, and building network on a bigger scale. Which one of these are you comfortable? You multiple choice. You can click all, you can click less. We just want to get a feeling for where we are. And we may, let me warn you, we may use this as inputs to see if we can design some network activities for you based on where the needs are. Okay, so very good. 20% voted already. Just for info, it's shifting. As you come in, it's almost all around central tendency, but yeah, actually it's central tendency. I wouldn't say there's one clear winner. Very interesting. But it's also very consistent with wherever I've given this workshop or session, very consistent with the others that have shared. Okay, about 58% is voted. I would really encourage you because this is almost the last poll. There's one more poll coming up, but that one is more like business poll. I mean, let's close this matter poll. What do we want to do next? But with the talk, this is the one. So I would like to really encourage, counting down to 5, 65% voted. Can you please squeeze and try? Those of you who have not. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 70, 68. Go to 70%. Can I have just a few more votes to make 70%? Then I end. Come. One more percentage count in a few weeks. 1 week's time, we have to do a lot of percentage count also coming up. Okay, 70%. I end the poll. Thank you. So you will see from the results that the biggest, almost 70%, is relationships, communications, and empathy. That means building the connection with the people. I tell you, in all the workshops that I do, whether it's 5 people or 50 people or 205 people like now, this comes up all the time because it's so tough. It's so difficult, dealing with people. And then the rest are almost central tendency, between 40 to 40 to 45, 45 to 55%. So we can leave it there, but just take note, of these results that we are seeing here. So thank you for participating in the poll and all that. I would like to now summarize and then move on to taking all the remaining questions and chats. We have got about 13 questions that are out there now, a number of chats also. Let's see what we can cover. We are supposed to finish this in about 13 minutes. Span will take about 5 more minutes. So let's say I need to finish in about 7 minutes, but with your permission, and if you all can extend another 10 minutes for me and another 5 minutes for Span, I would like to also make sure we cover. If not, we have to do a follow-up, maybe another gathering or whatever. So here's a quick summary. How do you go forth and be successful? Inside you have this power to dream your future. Once you have dreamt your future or futures, you can have one for your work, one for your future. 5 years from now, you can have a 10-year goal, 15-year goal. So don't need to be one. Be firm on your purpose. Show your strength and recover quickly if you fall, So for me right now, of all the things, it's my health that I'm looking at. I'm dreaming a future where I'm going to be around. I want to be around the next 10 years. I'm very firm on it. I'm making sure I'm doing all the right things. And if it comes back again, I'm going to fight the thing again. So inside you are all your tips. Be aware all around. Be aware of your styles. Be aware of the styles of others. Build relationships. Build networks. Recognize what people are not telling you. Really, to do that, you have to listen. You need to watch them. Don't just read. And that's why emails are not so good, because you cannot tell what's not spoken, you see. And then if there's an issue, go to them and settle it really quickly, So with that, let's go to the Q&A. So I'm going to go to Q&A first. First, let me go to the chat, see if there's any hidden questions there. Okay, there are actually some questions there that have come up. And then, okay, there was one technical issue with our team member, Jessica is helping out. Thanks, Jessica, well done. Okay, there's one question out there, but most of you have posted in Q&A. So I'm going to tackle from the top down. And I might go fast, please forgive me, because remember there's a doer in me, which means that I want to get things done fast, but there's also a feeler. I'm trying to answer as many as I can. So I'm going to go from the top down, first in, first out. Do you choose a dream job or do you choose a job that fits you? My quick opinion, and remember, everything I'm answering you here is my opinion. You ask somebody else, it could be another. And disclaimer, after hearing my opinion, you go and do, then kena hammer or beat up, and don't come and beat me up. You have to, of course, use due diligence. In my opinion, I've learned this. In the beginning of somebody's career, pick what you get. Especially now, jobs are very difficult to get. We are telling all the graduates now, pick what you get, but quickly working towards your dream, what you want. Don't wait for the dream job, but after you get the dream job or while you're in the dream job, always ask yourself, am I enjoying getting up in the morning to do so? If the answer is no, don't please be miserable and go show face to your boss. Do whatever you're being paid to do, but also spend your energy to see what you can do, all right, to get ready for the next one. In today's market scenario, do you think one is possible to jump from engineering to HR? Even if one is willing to take the challenges, no company will take him. Don't you think so? True, especially now. It is a buyer's market, employer's market. Employees got no choices. A lot of graduates have now ended up without job, even with diploma, even with degree, masters or so. But luckily, thankfully, our government has worked out some scheme which will help to bridge over, which is good. So I help to build experience also. So very good. We are in a place where there's a lot of help being provided. So we should leverage all the help that is being given to us. So very difficult to jump through any job that you have been doing, especially if you are in a job for a long time. It becomes very difficult to jump lah, you know. So and somebody said, yeah, even if you want to move to HR and you have a diploma in HR, it's very difficult. And you want to hear from me. Okay, thank you. The writer about, you want to hear from me, feel free to contact me. By the way, everyone, I got a feeling I can't finish all the questions. I'm going to rush, but if we can't finish, feel free to contact Span. Later you will hear from Span in the last 5 minutes. Either contact to reach me directly in person because you have something very personal to you that you want to talk to me. I'm there for you. I'm here for you. Please reach me. If I can, I help. If I cannot, I might point you to people who can help. The other way is, let's form a network. Hey, come on, man. SPAN, Singapore Poly Alliance and Network. Alliance is about people, network. My tip number 3 and tip number 4 is built into it. Let's get together. Let's form some interest group. Let's work on things that are meaningful for us. Let's help ourselves. I'm assuming majority of you are Poly graduates and, have passed through Poly. We are one family. Poly is the first Poly in Singapore. We should be very proud to be. Okay. In this current situation, how would you practice grit? It's tough mentally, emotionally, with managing work and family, way more exhausting when work demands attention. True, very true. So, and then also somebody has agreed that you actually moved to a job that is not relating to your education. Took a long time to secure the job. True. And many of you, what you study, you don't do. My son studied culinary at Temasek Poly. He doesn't even know how to cook at home. Whatever he did in his exam and finished, but he don't want to go into culinary, So that's reality. By the way, if anybody feels that I've not answered your question, we can maybe do another ad hoc session, new session, addressing just these questions. I hope I can organize with Span another session. So with that, I've got 2 more minutes before I hand over to Span. I'd like to do a quick poll on the chat. If you're willing to give me 10 more minutes, just say, okay, 10 more minutes. If I get enough feeling there, then I'm going to continue. If not, I'm going to cut in and then hand over to Span. Okay, 10 more. Okay. Shut up and just do another 10. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay. But how to shut up and do another 10? Okay, can. So quite a few of you are saying, okay. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate this. Let me try to cover all questions. I was opposite. I actually did a jump from HR to engineering. I was in the comfort zone in HR, but was made redundant. I was out of job for a year before I landed my first job. As a programmer, I lowered my expectation of a good paying job, but to learn the experience. My pay of, because it's anonymous, my pay of 1,500 per month was on par with the lowest paid foreign technical programmer. But it paid off in my later years and it helps pay for it to make me who I am now. Head of Technical Services for Southeast Asia. I would like every one of you, please, to go into that. There is one, do you have a screen where you can go in there and do a kind of applause or something like that? Or not? Let me see. If you have, I would like you to applaud this person. No, don't have. I can't see it. Don't have. Really. In the chat, you can say, well done. Too. Well done, really. I appreciate Mr. or Miss Anonymous. This is what we need now, even more so. I hope you can convey this to all other juniors out there. Don't be picky. Go pick a job, work hard, and you will succeed because you are Singaporean. We always are always one up. By the way, if there are any foreign talent in the group, no, nothing personal. How do we know which job suitable for us, good or not? Still asking myself, even though I graduated many years ago. And we have a like from 6 people, which means that 6 of you have the same question. So I'm actually answering 6 people. So this is true, very difficult. The test that you can do is number 1, really, there are career coaching available outside. And WSQ, by the way, has got career coaching options. So go check out career WSQ. I think the CDCs now have also got WSQ stations or some equivalent at their places. So it's really almost at your doorstep. Find out, and if not, we'll try to organize something through SPAN. Um, uh, okay, I have an input here saying start by excluding what you sure that you do not want to do. Okay, good. Thank you, JL, for your recommendation. So JL recommends make a list of things that you do want to do. Then even if I have to force to go and don't go lah, you know. Well, I guess I'm corrected on that. It also depends on your family situation. If you need to bring the money in because your dad has been working for 40 years, then of course you just take and bring some money in. But it's all very personal, very circumstantial. Don't take my inputs as the only one. So anyway, go get some career coaching, and maybe that's an idea for SPAN to organize something on career coaching, and then find out what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Okay, I'm going to now choose questions which have got higher likes. So if you want, you can go there and like some questions, because some questions have got like 5 likes, which means that those are pain questions which are better answer first. So there's one with 6. Based on latest controversial survey on on essential, non-essential workers in Singapore, Sunday Times, what are your views on the stats that HR managers are one of the top non-essential jobs? Why do you, the respondent, would say that HR is non-essential? How do you personally think HR is essential? Now, remember the 7 of you who like this, which means this is a pain question. Let me answer it very quickly. Firstly, I'm very thankful. By the way, the conclusion is Straits Times reported that if you are going to be made redundant, HR managers will be one of the first to be made redundant. I concur with you also. I'm glad I'm not in HR right now directly as an employee. But good news is you will be asked to make others redundant. You'll be one of the last to go. You have to lock up the door. So that's a good news. Like I and my team in HR had to do at 2 places. Really, this is the sad thing. My big HR boss, when I moved over to HR, told me, hey, HR is a function. You do also, you are damned. You don't do also, you are damned. What he meant is you can never make anyone happy, everyone happy. But he told us these, and it still stuck with me. If you believe in your heart that's the right thing to do for the majority, go do it. Remember, I'm majority, so okay lah, that's been guiding me. So tough. I guess the good thing about HR is every company needs HR people. That's the good news. So, well, and if that doesn't work, come out and be your own consultant, especially if you have got 10, 15, 20 years experience. Come, be your own. I tell you, the life is interesting. Hey, your money, sometimes end of month, no money, but when the money comes, you'll be very happy. Even the money doesn't come, you're very happy. So thank you for that. Let me pick another one that's very high count, because I'm going into my extended 10 minutes that you have given me. After which I'm going to give 5 minutes to spend. So 15 more minutes from now, we'll end. After that, anything left, we probably have to organize a follow-up. But wonderful, 17 over questions with so many likes, which means that we have almost 30 people with some pain questions there, you know, some with common questions. So let me pick one here, which has got 4. Can you share examples of doing daily grit exercises? Ayo. Can I have another 40 minutes? Okay, very quickly, remember the 4 grit. As you walk around every moment, by the way, some people are calling that mindfulness. I'm attending an evening course on mindfulness, by the way, by Zoom, because I've always said about it, but never understood. Thursday, tomorrow will be my last graduation. And I realized that it's actually also related to grit. It's about being aware of yourself, pausing, being aware in your self-awareness. Tip number 2, being aware of your breathing some more. Now I'm more aware of my breathing. So actually, sorry, Anonymous, Miss or Mr. Anonymous, this really, really is a lot. Maybe what we should do is just organize like when we can all meet face to face, organize like a fun session, 2 hours, come together at SPAN and just do some grit exercises. There are a lot of exercises we can do, but no hard and fast rule. So sorry, this one I really cannot answer right now because I'll eat into the answers, but there are techniques, and then hopefully we can get together to do. Okay, here's one with 4. Why did you say that for guys, the spouse is the upper level? This is a gentleman asking me. Okay, you're lucky, David. But most guys I talk to, okay, at least those in my circle, Every time I hear, hey, how, what's the story for today? Copy session, when we can meet last time. Every time talk about, I can hammer, quite sad story. Maybe this can be another one. And then David, you join me lah. You join to say spouse don't need to be your upper level. Spouse you can also make equal level. But then I will say, yeah, my wife, she's not around anyway, by the way. So I can hammer a lot really lah. Look at my hair. Isn't that evidence? Shouldn't husband and wife be on the same level? Another gentleman. Exactly. I am with you. Hey, by the way, gentlemen, don't get so serious. Part of this is my joke, just to lighten up the mood. Of course, be equal. So neither be lower. Remember, we were made from reaps of each other. Yeah. So guys, take it easy. Don't get so worked out. It's equal, but usually, gentlemen is like that. Sometimes you want to survive. You see how many of the viral videos and all. Survival technique number 1. Just listen here, go out here. And then you will live a long life and have your hair and don't lose it. Okay, here's one with a count of 5. I just came in 5 counts. Communication is a big skill. Sometimes to tell someone, we have to be more indirect and tactful, especially when showing it to bosses. And those are always not receptive to advisors or negative. I tell you, you are telling me, I tell you, so real. So here's the deal. You need to assess the person, Is this person ready to receive the go-to source info? If this person cannot, then you have to be tactful. There is one in coaching, we have a term called CLM. CLM stands for career limiting move. You don't go and bang your head on the wall, and your head is the one that's going to bleed. It's a head, wall, you don't go and bang. Work around the wall, get a drill and drill down, get somebody else to go and drill for you. Somebody who has a drill, you don't have the drill. You always have to know, so you need to know. So please don't go to source and go and career limiting move. That's reality. Okay, let me see what else is high score here. In my extended time, I've got 7 more minutes. Okay, here is a very long posting, I think, and there's one person who likes it. Let me address that. Personally, I'm facing issues trying to change jump industries. This is from MXT, TMX. Although my academic qualifications are relevant and related, when I'm reading it, when new ones come in, I lost it. So sorry. It jumps. Okay, because so many are coming in already, 14 plus questions here. So I graduated with chemical engineering, working in the environmental sector, 3 years. Back then only accepted this job due to lack of others. Right thing to do. I wouldn't say you did wrong. Now that I've been working for 3 years, the farm industry doesn't seem to willing to take into account my lack of experience, or they found a better candidate. People often say that I'm young, but based on experience so far, it seems like 3 years is a bother to the HR. Are there tips for people like me who are trying to make a career switch? Thank you so much, TMX. Okay, here's mine, and I'm sure others will have. I tell you what, I got a feeling we need to organize a SPAN session where all of us, maybe not all, whoever has been posting all these questions, we come together, we just have a copy session, just talk about this face-to-face. I think there'll be a lot of power. I will request SPAN to consider it and really organize a face-to-face session, by the way. And I'll be there for you. Let's do it together. When I went to HR with a diploma in industrial management from Poly, I actually went on to do my master's in organizational behavior. And then, a degree also in economics and management. I had to do that. So MXT, one idea might be for you to consider. Sorry, I've got to go back to school and see what you can do to gear up in farm area, pharmacy, if pharmaceutical. If not, change. Go into a new area with your experience, and for you to be able to express like that, I think you will also make good in other places. Okay, I've got 5 more minutes in my extended timing. Okay, here is a count of 5. So let me address that. People often say that I'm still young. Hey, wait a minute. Oh, that was I read that just now. So it's actually a carryover. People often say that I'm still young, but based on my experience, it seems that 3 years is a bother to the hiring manager. Actually, I answered this. So go prepare your qualifications or just change and shift area, even though you have invested in an earlier period. Okay, there's one on, really working with people, different time zone. That means you're in a global team, talking about HR practitioners. Thanks for the fruitful presentation. Tips on practice this, especially those belonging to the outside. Well, I tell you, I think we really need to come with that. One of you is clap, clap, clap. I think that was the earlier clap lah. Okay, I tell you what. You know what I'm going to do? Yeah, I think I will try to rush in the 4 minutes. I'm going to give 2-line sentences. What would you suggest a newbie to do when you run into inefficient way, when the company is run inefficient? Wonderful. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to use everything that you have learned, your experience, etc. Newbie. So try to recall. And if you're from Poly, come back to maybe PACE, attend a course, some relevant course. You know, IoT, the Internet of Things all seem to be right. I don't know what's your relevant course. Go to PACE, talk to SPAN, run, attend some courses, and go back there and be the champion. Lead. If you can show them in a very small step that you made a difference, guess what? You are probably the next manager or assistant manager or senior manager or director. Okay, I'm not joking, serious. What do you do when company and management do things for the sake of doing? Ask you to do things which are not even utilized in the end. This is really sad. This is really sad. I've seen a lot. You know, wayang, wayang in Malay means showmanship. You know, plenty of those. Quite sad. Quite sad. There are people who can spend 20, 30 years in the job, wayang their whole way and grow. And the people really hardworking are the ones who are left behind. I always tell them because I meet them regularly. If you feel that you champion it, hey, don't give up straight away. Otherwise, you wasted your time in the grit session today. Take and run with it. But if you realize that run with it is you're hitting a wall, don't waste your time. Look for something else that you can do better, really. Seriously, okay? Now, as I say that, don't go and resign tomorrow. And then after that, next 3 months, you got no food. Please, be careful. Different region at times see help differently. So how would you offer help to people who see you as competition or feeling that you are trying to outshine him? Wow. And then 2 of you, this is another story. That's the thing, you see. So when you are tip number 3, when you're dealing with people, read the unspoken. And if you feel that this person is not valuing you, back off. You see, you help people, tip number 3, only if it's reciprocated and only if they appreciate. If not, go look somebody else who will appreciate. Really, you know. But if you're the manager and you're supposed to coach this person, you may need to use some power hierarchy to get it done, really, you know. Okay, last minute already. We still have some questions unanswered. Really sorry, can't answer. But I think those with a high count I've answered. We will take these questions. I will work with SPAN to see how we can address these. Maybe another webinar or another face-to-face copy session where we can, you know, talk to and have a conversation on these. So with that, exactly used up my extended 10 minutes. I'm going to now hand over these back to SPAN. And once again, everyone, I really want to thank you for all the comments in the chat and the Q&A. If something is not answered, I really apologize. The feeler in me is really feeling very sad, but the doer in me tells I better keep the time, otherwise somebody is going to shoot me. Because Lisa has got a gun there that she's ready to shoot at me. So with that, bye everyone. I do hope we can meet up together and meet somewhere and talk. Lisa, over to you. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Well, thank you, Mr. Prabhu, for your very, very humorous sharing and insightful sharing. And definitely, we have learned some useful tips from all the Q&A sessions and the presentation itself. So, yeah, finally, for our last poll for all of you, do vote for the topics that you like to see in the upcoming SPAN webinars. Maybe you'd like to see Mr. Prabhu back. Do let us know, you know, so we can arrange another session with him. So yes, let's start the poll. And which are some of the topics that will interest you to attend? And rate your experience for today. Let us know you enjoy the session today, and yeah. Okay, we'll wait for a while more, a few seconds to get in more votes. Okay, thank you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we end the poll. Thank you very much for participating in the poll. So we hope that we can be able to better cater to your needs for the upcoming webinars. And before we end, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you all once again for joining us. It's overrun, but I'm sure everyone enjoyed the session, especially to Mr. Prabhu for being the lead or being the champion in our very first SPAN webinars. We will be sharing the post-event link on our social media. Do follow SPAN on our LinkedIn, Facebook, and Telegram. We'll be checking in with Mr. Prabhu on the slides availability. Some of you are asking questions on whether the slides can be shared. We'll get back to you, and shouldn't be a problem. Mr. Prabhu, he's so willing to share. Okay, so our next session,
Yes.
yeah.
Answer is yes.
Yes, the answer is yes. Very good. Okay, so we'll be sending you the slides, and do look out for those of you who came in late, you can review the link again. Okay, our next session will be on 1st July, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m., which is next week, again on a Wednesday. And topic for the day, if it interests you, will be opportunities arising from the New World Order post-COVID-19. Sounds serious, right? But yeah, this is what we are going to go into by Suncage Consulting Private Limited CEO, Mr. Aidin Ilhan. And that's all for today. And stay safe. See you at our next webinar.